Mental health are two words that we hear a lot more often now. It is something that I, along with many others, have struggled with. In the year of 2020, at least 2.9 million adolescents from the ages of 12 to 17 have struggled with at least one depressive episode. That makes about 17% of the US population. It is important for me to talk about this because at first, I felt so alone in what I was experiencing. It really affected me at a really young age. But then when I started to share my problems, I started to realize that I really wasn't alone. I want those of you who might be feeling the same to know that opening up can allow others to help you out, and it can be really helpful. Mental health and mental illness are not black or white. It is really different for everyone. For me, when I felt sad, I cried a lot. I isolated myself in my room. I isolated myself from my friends and family, and I really didn't know how to feel. I was always used to the usual breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I started losing my appetite. I started to eat less or started to not eat at all. And I'm not the best student at school, but I did find myself losing focus on all my homework. All my grades started falling, and it was really hard for me to focus on what was necessary when my mind was someplace else. I was a freshman in high school. I was 14 years old. I was really short. I was awkward. I was really shy, and I had a really bad lisp, and I still have that really bad lisp right now. And one important thing is I had really, really bad hair. That is me on the left and my little brother on the right. That same year, you can say I fell in love for the first time. Truthfully, looking back, it wasn't real love. Honestly, I don't know what I was feeling those times, and to this day, I don't even know what real love is. I really became close to this one girl. We expressed our feelings for each other. We cared about each other so much. And you could just say things went really great. And I really trusted her. As time went on, I can feel that something was a bit off. I knew that we weren't talking as much. I knew that she wasn't putting as much effort as I was. And that's where my overthinking started to kick in. I asked her about it, and that conversation led to an argument, and that argument led to the end of that relationship. Now, before I move on, most of you probably thought this was going to be a Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet story, but sorry to say, it didn't lead that way. I still remember that day like it was just last Friday. Everyone was ready for the weekend. Everyone was ready to spend time with their friends and family. I was ready to go home and cry. I really didn't know how to feel. And to remind you, this was my first time falling in love. And I still remember going home that day. I had a negative mindset for the rest of the day. I went straight to my room. I cried a lot. I skipped dinner. And I didn't tell anyone what was happening with me. I felt like I was all alone. Until one day, as time went on, I still had that pain. No one knew what was happening. My parents got mad at me for not doing my chores. And really, they were just telling me what I was doing wrong. They weren't even yelling at me, but at that time, I felt like they were just raising their voice at me. And then that's when I broke down crying in front of them. That was the first time I've ever cried that much in front of my parents. I just let out everything. I can see the worried and confused looks on their faces. They held me up and they asked me these 3 basic words. Are you okay? Now, you might see this as just 3 basic words in the English language, but to me, there were 3 powerful words that still just made an impact in my life to this day. I felt a relief after I told them what was going on. Just like that phrase that we've all heard, 1,000 pounds off your chest. But to me, it felt more like the weight of 1,000 silences, 1,000 shameful secrets to bear had vanished. In this realization of invitation, I just heard, "Are you okay?" And I realized I could finally answer that. Even though this wasn't the basic Romeo and Juliet story that we've all heard, the basic love at first sight story, or any love story, it was still an experience to me. I learned a lot. I realized that I wasn't alone. I realized that I wasn't alone after talking about my problems. And since then, I have taken care of my mental health, and I've made it a priority. I'm more open up with my family. I talk about how I'm feeling with them. I go to counseling, and I find ways to distract myself when I'm having more problems. If you're someone out there that is going through the same thing, it can be any love story, any relationship, or anything, just know that you're going to be okay, and I know you will. There is light at the end of the dark tunnel that we're all facing right now. There is light when you take steps to find it. And if you know someone who is going through the same thing, it can be anybody. It can be a loved one, a friend, or anybody. Just make room for conversation. Just ask those 3 words, "Are you okay?" Just like what my parents did. Just like how one of my favorite quotes says, "A simple hello can lead to millions of things," because I know it really does. Give that person a hug. Let them know that they really matter and that they have a purpose to still be here. Because you might not know how much that means to a person that is broken and to a person that has been hurt so many times. Now that's real love right there. I know that all of us have happiness. It's during the darkest times that we need the help and love to find it. Thank you.